Hey guys, C Hicks here. Welcome back to my channel. Y'all, there's been another school mass shooting today, December 16th, 2024. I'm just finding out about it. Did you all know about it? Here it is.
Today at 10:57 a.m., our team was called to the Abundant Life Christian School in reference to an active shooter. We know that 3 people are dead, including the suspect shooter. We know that the suspect shooter was a teenage student who attended the school. 2 other people have died. That died were a teacher and a teenage student. 6 other people were injured. 2 students are now in critical condition in the hospital, and these injuries are considered life-threatening injuries. 4 students are also at other area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. But these are just the physical injuries that we know about. We know that this was the middle of the day, of a school day, and so there will be other injuries that we'll have to face for a very, very long time. And we're going to do everything we can as a community to heal those injuries as well. I think we can all agree that enough is enough. And we have to come together to do everything we can to support our students, to prevent press conferences like these from happening again and again and again.
Yep, it's another one. It's another one, y'all. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired of this happening. And this is just 2 days after Sandy Hook. What do you all think it's going to take? I'm so disheartened. This is so frustrating, y'all. This is 9 days before Christmas. 9 days before Christmas. And these people, these families have to deal with this trauma. It's too much, right? What's it going to take? Because it's not, I'm a gun person. I'm a gun person. I'm not all for take everyone's guns, but there has to be some reform, right? There has to be. That's not an unrealistic expectation, right? I mean, other countries, other continents, other people do not have this violence. This has to stop. But y'all, let's get into some of these reactions. Yeah, let's get into it.
You don't think you're gonna go through this, and like I said before, I bring my daughter to school knowing well that this happens in the world, that people are struggling, and I pray for my daughter's safety. I pray for the entire school safety. I pray for the hearts of the students, the teachers, the staff members. It's a very real thing, and I'm very aware that the world is like this.
There was at least 3 hoax school shootings in Oklahoma today. All 3 schools were on lockdown, and there was a school shooting in Wisconsin today with, if I remember correctly, 2 dead as of right now, I believe. Well, so is school ever going to come back to learning? Is it ever going to be about learning again, or is it just going to be get a bulletproof backpack, run in a zigzag, turn the lights off and get in the corner? Is that all we're going to learn? Really? I shouldn't have to be worried that I'm not going to see my little sisters again when they go to school. They're in elementary. That shouldn't even be a thought in my mind. The thousands of millions of parents out there that I can't even imagine what it is like to be a parent and send your kid to a public school in America every day. I cannot fathom.
Officers are saying 4 people killed plus the shooter, so 5 total. We know the shooter was a juvenile, 5 other people injured and transported to local hospitals.
And the chief confirmed, Chief Barnes did, with that the Police officers who responded to the scene did not fire a shot, so that leads us to believe the shooter took his or her own life, and the chief would not confirm whether it was a male or female juvenile, but that juvenile was able to get a gun inside the building, open fire. It appears that there are 5 people that suffered gunshot wounds.
About an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, a 17-year-old girl walked into a Catholic Christian school, grades kindergarten through 12th grade, and opened fired about a mile from my house in Madison, Wisconsin, on the east side, Buckeye Road. At the time, all we know is there's multiple casualties. I've heard 3 people dead, I've heard 5 people dead, but for 3 people dead for sure, not including the shooter, who committed suicide on the scene. One of them being a child, which is, as a parent, I can't fathom it. All I can think about is the fact that these people went and dropped their kids off to school today, a Catholic Christian school that they paid to have their kids go to at that, and within 2 hours they were getting a call, 2-3 hours getting a call that there's an active shooter with their kids in the school, not knowing if they're safe, dead, injured. So please keep your prayers with the families, and just call your loved ones, call anybody you can. Just use this as a time to reflect on how short life is and how unpredictable it is, and how it can literally happen anywhere. I live a mile, literally it's exactly 1 mile away from my house. I was on my way home and all I saw were ambulances and police cars, 30, 40 police cars just trying to get to the scene. But yeah, if you're looking for more details, I'm sure you can look it up. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. It seems like everybody's starting to hear about it. It's getting reported everywhere, but there's no updates. Obviously, we don't know how many people for sure. I've heard 5 dead. I've heard 3 dead. I've heard 5 injured, 7 injured. But I was listening to the police scanner, and the school now has been cleared. Everybody who needed medical attention has been transported to nearby hospitals and clinics, but please check on your people. Even if you know anybody in the area, you never know who you know that could have been there. Yeah, just a time to reflect for sure, but please keep those families and children and anybody involved in your thoughts and prayers.
So there was a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin, and why did I just see someone compare those kids to the United Health CEO? What? No. Literally was trying to make an argument oh, the people who were cheering on Luigi are going to be, saying different things now about this school. I'm sorry. What corruption did those kids have? What? And you're comparing children to a grown fucking man who was a CEO millionaire. Shut, and I mean this completely, entirely, the fuck up. Seriously, delete all your shit. Delete all your shit and find a cave, and don't come the fuck out of it, bitch. You're done.
The school shooter was a 17-year-old female. She was also a student at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. This is incredibly rare. In recent history, meaning the last 40 plus years, there have only been 2 school shootings conducted by biological females. Today was one of them. The other was the Covenant School in Nashville, and that individual identified as a man. Here are the other things that we know. The firearm used was apparently a handgun, and it was all confined to one space, although it has not been specified whether that space was a single classroom or a hallway. Now, at this point, motive is still unknown. However, police are trying to execute a search warrant in order to learn more about the suspect and kind of see what happened, what went wrong. Also, police have been saying that they were not the ones to take the shooter out, so it sounds like it might be self-inflicted. Now, obviously, we are still waiting for more information to come out, about the shooter, but more importantly, about the victims. Now, if you don't want to miss any of these critical updates, make sure to hit that follow button. As always, of course, drop your thoughts in the comments because there's a lot of emotion going on with this. There's a lot to talk about. And as soon as we have an additional update, I will be back on to let you guys know.
Well, if it isn't another set of breaking news of yet another mass shooting in American schools.
Students, teachers, a mix.
Yeah, again, we're not going to talk about that until we notify all the families.
Y'all, when will enough be enough? When will enough be enough? Why is the life of some CEO who literally has the blood of hundreds of thousands, if not more people on his hands, more important than our children's? Why? The media can be in an outrage about that one event and talk about violence and how it's not the answer, but we refuse to address pew-pew ownership and limitations that should exist and protecting our children's lives. This is a normal Tuesday for them. No wonder they have no empathy or care for this guy, which I don't either, but when is enough enough?
Sitting there, get my fat bitch on. Saturday was the anniversary of Sandy Hook. I did a video and I said how long until the next one. It was 2 days. 2 days. This is a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin. It only has a population of 390 students, K through 12. So you have to pay to go there. They certainly have a lower student to teacher ratio than a public school. They have more funding than a public school. They have better resources than a public school. Yet a student somehow got yet another unsecured weapon, brought it to school, and there's either 2 or 4 that are unalived. I believe 7 at the hospital. So do you think that maybe it isn't just public schools? It isn't just, not the gun's fault. No. It's both. It's all of them. It's mental health. It's the problem that it's a weapon. That child did not go to that school armed with a baseball bat. Because most school shootings are over in under 2 minutes. When is enough going to be enough and we get some common sense gun legislation? Wherever this weapon came from, whoever bought it should be charged with a felony. And felony murder. Because they provided the weapon.
Some idiot just attacked a whole bunch of kids in a Christian school in Wisconsin, and we know more about that suspect than we do about Thomas Brooks, who attacked Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. So that's number one. Number two is, it is a very unfortunate situation. I'm praying for the family. Prayer does work. Number three is, this is a good opportunity for all the Democrats to call for reform, to ignore the Second Amendment, because they think the only reason why we need to carry is because of burglars and because of hunting. Okay. The founding fathers gave us the Second Amendment because of government control. We could have all these amendments. We have a Constitution, Bill of Rights. We could have all these freedom, the little freedom, women's rights that y'all were fighting for in the last election that you thought Donald Trump would take from you. All of that don't matter if we don't have the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment protects us from the government from controlling us. So you could call for reform all you want, and it is an unfortunate situation. I'm not saying it's not. But the easiest way to keep the kids safe, me safe, you safe, so you can have your rights, is the Second Amendment. Don't touch nothing. Don't ask me to give you anything. I'm not giving you nothing.
None of us should have to fear for the lives of our children and ourselves. We should have the right and the freedom to be safe in our communities. The vast majority of Virginians support common sense gun violence prevention measures like ensuring safe storage and disarming abusers. We sent the governor common sense bills that Virginians support, and he vetoed them. He vetoed bills to protect lives, particularly lives of women and children. He vetoed our safety. He sided with the gun lobby rather than with Virginians. Even in just the past 2 years since I've been in the General Assembly, we've had a number of shootings across Virginia that have made national news. The shooting at the University of Virginia, the shooting at a Walmart in Chesapeake with a gun that was bought that same morning, the 6-year-old in Newport News who brought a gun to school and shot their teacher. These shootings are not rare. They happen every single day in every single community. And then they happen again. Families are tired of grieving the loss of another life when the solution is clear. We have the evidence. We have the data. How much longer do we have to wait to save lives?
There was a school shooting today in Wisconsin, the Catholic school. We're going to get to the point where it doesn't matter when life starts, when we can't even protect the life when it's born. From the same people who preach the God that they try to give thoughts and prayers to the people who loses a family member. When that child's parent was probably an irresponsible parent, and if they would have had an abortion, maybe we wouldn't have had a mass pew-pewing. So you're pro-life or pro-birth. Pick one.
I'm just going to keep reminding people after every school shooting that we were so close to some basic gun safety measures in this country that 80 to 90% of Americans support. It was April of 2013, in the wake of the Sandy Hook shooting, in which 20 6- and 7-year-olds were gunned down, that there was immense bipartisan support for a package of gun safety measures that got well over 50 votes in the U.S. Senate. But it wasn't enough to pass the 60-vote threshold. One of those votes to kill those measures came from Senator Ron Johnson, who, of course, offered his condolences after the Madison shooting and said he would closely monitor the situation. Though it only seems he's not monitoring these situations on behalf of constituents, he's monitoring on behalf of the NRA and is prepared to again vote to kill any of the basic gun safety measures that might keep more of our kids from getting killed in school. After all, this is the same Ron Johnson who blamed school shootings on wokeness. I wish I were kidding.
Another shooting in Wisconsin, everybody. What I'm seeing is different from all news sources, but there are deceased. So I don't know how many. Arm the veterans. Put them outside of our schools. What you're doing isn't working. Arm the veterans. The people who don't have jobs would be so willing to sit in front of our schools and defend our children. Put freaking security cameras there. Lock all the doors. I don't care if y'all think it's a prison at that point. Our kids are dying. They believe that the suspect was a student at the school, and also the police 3 blocks away were in training for this type of situation today. Something doesn't smell right to me, but I like to keep my account on this app, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. Anyway, I'm sure more developing news will come out on who this person was and why they did it.
Schools don't need security. Schools are where kids need to learn. Do you guys not fucking understand?
Dead kids don't learn. What don't you understand?
Just like most of you, I am recently learning about the school shooting that took place at the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, where a female student took the lives of 4 others, including a teacher. You guys are going to get the details about this shooting from other media outlets and social media. I want to talk a little bit today about why. Why are we seeing this happen? Why are we seeing this uptick of school shootings in the last 10 years? There have been 83 school shootings in 2024. 83. That's absolutely absurd. That's absurd. And I want to know what's happened. What are we seeing that has changed in society in the last 10 years that there is now this, this callousness about humans and the human life, this total disregard for human life? What has happened that we are so disconnected And children are so disconnected that there is no sense of accountability, responsibility, compassion, or empathy. What has happened that has caused this much trauma in a child's life that they might make this choice? Is it about bullying? Is it about untreated mental health concerns? Is it more about firearms and having access and means? Because if you think about it, that's a pretty bad combination. Anger, disconnection, lack of compassion, no empathy, a firearm. Ooh. Can you imagine what you could do with that if given the opportunity? This is not okay. And we have to figure it out because obviously something is going on. My condolences to the families, my condolences to the school, my condolences to all who are involved. 83 shootings in 12 months. Something's got to give.
I'm playing politics on this because it's a political issue that needs to be resolved. And fucking thoughts and prayers don't do shit. This school where the shooting took place should have plenty of thoughts and prayers. It's a Christian school. Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. There were 5 killed, 5 injured. At least that's the last reporting so far. One of the killed is the shooter. And there has been no reports on the ages of the victims or the shooter. Several people were transported to hospitals. And nothing's going to get fucking done. Nothing is going to happen. This is just going to be another sad loss that we're just going to have to get over. Because pro-life politicians don't think these lives matter.
So I first learned about this today when I got a text message from my kiddo as I was boarding a flight. As I sat down, I noticed the pop-up and it just said, "Mom, there's a school pew-pewer." They didn't say pew-pewer, but it cut off the part that said in Madison, Wisconsin. So for the longest second of my life, I thought I was opening a text from my child in an active pew-pewer event at their school. And I was relieved for a second that it wasn't my kid's school, but only for a second because it's somebody's kid's school. There's moms, there's dads, there's family, there's friends, there's teachers, there's colleagues, there's husbands, there's wives, there are people who are impacted. All of those students are impacted by this. It doesn't make it better that it's not my kid's school. It just makes me lucky. And usually I get so fucking mad and I ask, when's it gonna be enough? Enough is enough, but it's been enough. And nobody does anything. And they won't. We just elected somebody who doesn't care. And the people who elected him will happily sacrifice our babies at the altar of 2A. So we hold our breath and we hope that our school isn't next. While you do nothing. There are families whose loved ones will not be with them this holiday season now. They will be planning funerals instead of Christmas parties. For what? It wasn't my kid's school today. And I am thankful for that. But it could be next time. And they just don't care.
A school shooting right before Christmas break. I hate it here. What y'all got going on up there, Wisconsin?
I'm so fucking sick of important people saying this is a very sad day on days like today. Didn't fucking have to be. I am sick of them saying we as a country are better than this. No, we aren't. No, we aren't. If we were, we would have done something a long time ago, but instead we sit on thoughts and prayers and do fucking nothing. We are not better than this. And it didn't have to be a sad day.
The only way to deal with all the crazy people trying to attack schools is arm the principal, arm the vice principal, arm any qualified employee, and get a whole bunch of retired veterans out here to rotate and get paid part-time or full-time. It doesn't really matter, to use their expertise and their experience to keep kids safe, The last thing you need to do is have some sort of reform where the Second Amendment is in jeopardy. Our forefathers like literally laid their lives down for us to have the First and Second Amendment. And all these other rights and all these other opportunities that you think is going to come with America, if we just get rid of the Second Amendment, it's going to be gone. We're going to look more like China, more like North Korea, more like any other communist country if the Second Amendment is gone. And America's the GOAT for the First and Second Amendment, 100%. And the last thing I'm going to do is sit around and watch a whole bunch of Democrats come up with a new progressive idea where we need to progress to the next stage and solve this next problem by getting rid of the Second Amendment.
That's very interesting. But what do we do about the gays? I mean, how do we get rid of them?
There's been a school shooting in Wisconsin. We don't know much, how many's actually died or nothing. Seen 3 dead, up to 5 dead, 5 to 7 more injured. The school was K through 12, so we don't know how many were kids, how many were faculty. But the shooter, his subscription to life has been canceled, allegedly by himself, and they're pretty sure he was a student. Here's what I want to say. All going to send thoughts and prayers to the family. And listen, that's all fine. Do that. But beyond being momentarily outraged, to claim it's a gun problem, to claim it's a mental health problem, and go back and forth about politics, these people are still going to have to live this Christmas without their family, their spouses, probably without some of their children. This is terrible anytime it happens. There's just something about them was fixing to be off for Christmas break in a couple days. That's just eerie as fuck. If we don't get a handle on the mental health spiral of the youth of this country, it's going to fucking keep happening. And next thing, this set of people I don't want to hear shit from about this. We're one of the majority of people. It's in Luigi for his gun violence. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Not one word from your ass. Can't praise gun violence one week and condemn it the fucking next. Shut the fuck up. That is all.
So President Biden came out since the school shooting, and he wants Congress to act now because he says it's unacceptable that we can't protect our children from gun violence. Okay, of course, everybody agrees with that no child should be getting shot in school and we should all feel protected. But there is nothing that you can do. All right? Passing legislation for gun control is not going to stop a criminal from getting a gun. Okay? We have guns and drugs coming across our borders like you would not believe. And if you don't believe that, then you're living in a fucking hole. Okay? The same with trafficking. All right? This stuff goes on 24 hours a day, all the time. All right. And until we get serious control of our borders, okay, serious control, we can't even think about proposing this. All right. Now, of course, I'm an advocate of the Second Amendment, and I believe everybody has a right to protect themselves and bear arms. All right. And I used to be in law enforcement. All right. So my view on that's never going to change. But there are some other things I think we can do, like I think the teachers should be allowed to be armed, absolutely, if they want to be. I think it should be mandated that every school in the United States has an SRO on campus. I also think it should be mandated that every school has blocks installed in their classrooms, their door jams. There's lots of products out there to lock down rooms. There's a couple other things too I think that need to be done, but banning assault weapons, banning guns altogether, it's not going to stop anything. If you want to go do something, if you want to commit a crime, people will find a way. And there is a bunch of stuff on the black market that even kids can get, okay? And even if we're talking like the dark web, those kids of yours know that better than what you do. All right. But I'd like to know your thoughts on this. If you have any other ideas, if you disagree with me, agree with me, it'd be great to know your comments. Let's talk about it. And of course, please repost and follow if you like this type of content.
Your thoughts and prayers don't do fucking shit. How many fucking kids are we gonna let die before we change something? 2 kids are dead. I'm so sick of guns being more of a priority than living, breathing human beings.
So there was a school shooting that happened in Wisconsin, and all I have to say to American government is do fucking better. Bro, y'all literally are trying to police women's vaginas, but y'all can't police these shooters' guns. Make it make sense. I can't even imagine sending my child to school and I'm hoping and praying each and every day that they go to school that they come back safe in my household, because America gun laws are trash, are caca. Like literally, bro, I'm pissed off because kids, teachers, and administration's lives were in danger and people were killed in that building. America needs to do better. We have the most massive school shootings ever, and that's across the board. Like, if you compare us to like a country like China or Japan or any, European countries, we have the highest school shootings. Why is that? It's because people have easy access to guns. That's why. Until we make stricter gun laws, people are going to lose their life senselessly, especially children. Until, what's so funny? I always said this too. No president ever that was in office that allowed the gun laws ever thought about, maybe one day my child is going to be affected by that. And I'm not even trying to wish that on them, but trust and believe, if they don't do something about this sooner or later, it's gonna be one of their children. I'm not even talking about president. I'm talking about representative. I'm talking about Supreme Court. I'm talking about people who have the power to make the changes when it comes to gun laws, but are sitting out and doing nothing. I'm talking about those people.
This is the girl who was responsible for the school shooting in Wisconsin, who took 2 people's lives and injured 6 others. We don't have an update for the 6 that are in critical condition, but we do know now why she did this. She thought that it would make her famous. She had been posting on X leading up until the shooting. She was obsessed with true crime and even uploaded a manifesto to Google Documents, leaving behind her story, but she set it to private. She left a link, but nobody could get into it as of now. And people are saying her name is Samantha, but it's actually Natalie. She just used Samantha online. One of the sad things is she's an extreme feminist and an advocate for the extermination of every male, from like babies till elderly. Because of her infatuation with true crime, she thought she would leave behind her mark, probably hoping to end up a famous killer. This is just a snippet from her manifesto, and it goes on to basically state her disdain for men and how women have to beg for men's approval and validation. But what do you guys think about this?
We now know who the school shooter was in the Madison, Wisconsin school shooting today. Samantha Rupnow. This person right here, a 17-year-old girl who went to Abundant Life Christian School, is the one that ended the student and the teacher's life. She posted on X leading up to this and even posted a Google file with her manifesto citing every reason why she did what she did. However, Samantha was too stupid to realize that when you post a Google Doc, you have to give people access to it and permission to see it, or else it is private, and that's what this link is. So as they posted this picture of them sitting on the toilet in the bathroom stall before they decided to go and shoot up their school, they posted this link thinking everybody would be able to read it and they would become even more famous after they were ended, and now nobody can actually read this thing. Her header on X is also a picture of a church on fire, leading more people to think that this is why she decided to shoot up a Christian school. And we will probably not be able to see what was on that manifesto until the police and the FBI search through that, and that would probably take months.
All right, y'all. So this whole Wisconsin shooting tragedy, the police chief, whoever he is, keeps asking if we really want metal detectors in our schools. What the fuck does it matter if it keeps our kids and the teachers and everyone safe? What the fuck does it matter what's in the schools? Why is that of importance? Put security guards, metal detectors, whatever the hell you got to put in there to keep them safe. That's what matters. And to add, it's not that we want metal detectors in the school, it's what is obviously necessary. Plain and simple. What do you think?
I'm outside the reunification center for the Abundant Life Christian School. This is where parents are reuniting with their kids. Now, we just found out from police that the suspect in this case was a 17-year-old female. And we also know that a handgun was used in this school shooting, and that 3 people have died, including the suspect, 1 teacher, and 1 other teenage student. And where I'm at, we're about a half a mile away from where the school is. This is, I think, one of the first times that we have seen a female school shooter besides the Covenant school shooting in Tennessee. And this is interesting that we are seeing that it was a woman in this case, but we are still learning more information about what's happening. We don't know the motive quite yet, but we're trying to figure out more information. Police say that they are still investigating.
Wow, another school shooting. Why am I not surprised? Like what the heck is wrong with people? Like, for real. Why are kids and teachers steady dying in a place where it's supposed to be safe for them to attend? Like, help me understand this. So these are all the updates that I've seen so far. It says 3 people are dead after a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School, a Madison, Wisconsin campus for K to 12th graders. A teacher and a teenage student were killed, police said. Officials said the shooter was a teen who also attended the school. The student's age and gender have not been released. And 6 other people were injured. 2 students are in critical condition, and the teacher as well as 3 other students had non-life-threatening injuries, officials say. So allegedly, this is the person that committed this heinous act above me. Said the person's name was Samantha Rupnow, a biological female and self-proclaimed feminist who attended the school. It said she was fascinated by true crime and that she admired the Columbine shooters. And then there's also speculation that she posted a manifesto that exists but is currently set to private on Google Docs. And these are the pictures and the videos, I'm guessing, that she posted up here. Also, they said that she died too because she offed herself. Then I'm also hearing that this was the last week of school for these kids before they went on winter break. That's sad, bro. Like, this really happened a week before Christmas. I can't imagine how those kids feel right now. Them being traumatized before Christmas. I don't even think they want to celebrate Christmas no more. I don't even blame them. But this whole thing is sad, bro. At this point, the parents might need to just homeschool their kids if stuff like this is going to continue to happen. But let me know what y'all think about this whole thing.
Hey, I might be a little late to the story, but I just heard some breaking news that there was a incident, and I want to say the wrong word on TikTok, at Abundant Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. I don't know if there were any fatalities. I know several were injured, but why does this keep happening? And please, I mean, don't come back with the pew-pew control, because, I mean, obviously that's not working and we still need to be able to defend ourselves. But what I'm talking about is, why does this keep happening at schools? I don't know if this was a student, if this was somebody just around the school. And I guess what irks me is that of all the funding and everything we have, that's where our money needs to be going to, is things like that. Keeping our own safe, our children safe. There's no excuse for this. Why does this keep happening? And why does this always happen around times when distractions are needed? I don't get it.
I send my daughter to school every day. And when she gets home, I ask her what she did and ask her what she learned. I asked her who she played with. And I asked her if she helped anybody. There are parents today in Madison, Wisconsin that do not get to ask their kids how their day was. At some point in this country, we're going to have to reconcile with the fact that being pro-life has to extend to kids that are actually living. Because if we are caring more about an unborn child than we are about kids that are just simply going to get an education, we are failing them. And I think that we should be focused more on school safety than on school choice.
Okay, guys, those are all the reactions that I've put together for this particular video. What are your thoughts? Seriously, what do you think needs to happen so that these mass shootings will stop happening at schools? Do you think it's guards? Do you think it's security or what is it, metal detectors at the doors? Or do you think it's gun reform? What do you think is going to stop this? And how long do you think this particular incident will be in the news? Do you think it will be in the news for as long as the death of the CEO from United Healthcare has been in the news? What do you think is going to happen here? I'm sorry, guys. I really don't have much here. I'm overwhelmed. I'm undone. I'm hurt. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. And this is my first time reporting something like this, and I don't want to get used to it. Does that make sense? I don't want this, even though this seems to be the norm in American society. I don't want this to be the norm for this channel. I don't want this to be the norm as we move into 2025. Something has to give, right? I don't know, guys. I don't know. This was a lot. Get in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think the fix is? I don't know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, toodles.